pregnancy test wasn't a piece of plastic. It was a neon billboard in a dark alley that read, "Congrats, you played yourself." 2 pink lines. Last week she'd called it a miracle. Mascara cleanly streaked down a face paid for with lasers and serums. "After all these years, Nick," she'd whispered, voice trembling in a register she used for funerals and realtors. "It's finally happening." We hadn't been trying. We'd been religious about condoms because "I'm not ready after Sophie and Mia" had been her scripted line, and we hadn't been intimate enough for any immaculate conception to happen under my roof. I'm Nick Callahan, 41, CEO of Secure Guard Systems, builder of armored doors for other people's lives. Suddenly the most expensive, betrayed man on the planet. 20 years of marriage, and my wife handed me a pregnancy test like it was a winning lottery ticket. Only problem, I wasn't playing that game. The phone buzzed. "Emily from yoga, don't wait up. XOXO. Yoga at 10 p.m. on a Thursday. With her instructor, Marcus Kent. The one in the cherry red Porsche who'd been giving private lessons for 6 months and eye-screwing my wife at every neighborhood barbecue while I stood over a grill, flipping medium rares for people who called me buddy and big guy. I sat on our king-sized bed, the one I'd been sleeping in alone, and laughed. Not the sane kind. The kind that echoes off vaulted ceilings like a gunshot in a cathedral. Marriage, the priciest subscription service on earth. I'd been paying for premium and getting the trial version with ads. The house bent out of shape around me. 5,000 square feet of colonial in Meadowbrook Estates, manicured lawn, 3-car garage, a kitchen island big enough to embalm a horse. Overnight, it turned into a luxury prison with tasteful sconces. Every family photo on the wall looked like an exhibit in a fraud case. Every piece of furniture felt like a lie upholstered in Egyptian cotton. I went downstairs to my office, pulled a yellow legal pad from a drawer like a weapon. Old school. The best plans begin with ink and quiet. On top, Emily's game. Under it, my rules. She thought she was playing chess. Fine. I'd flip the board and beat her with the pieces. 3 days I played the devoted husband. A performance so clean it needed closing credits. Coffee in bed, foot rubs, grocery runs, reposts of her stories about her amazing hubby while her thumbs worked overtime under the table. "You're so sweet lately," she said over breakfast, iPhone face down beside a kale smoothie that tasted like lawn clippings and self-regard. "What's gotten into you?" "Just happy about the baby," I said, buttering toast like I was dressing a wound. 20 years, and we've still got magic." She blushed. It was practiced, but it did the job. Across the table, Sophie, 18, and Mia, 16. Perfect posture, perfect indifference, perfect scroll. Emily's hair, my stubbornness, a chemistry set built to explode. "Dad, can I borrow the BMW tonight?" Sophie asked without looking up. "Jessica's having a party." "Ask your mother," I said automatically. "She's the social coordinator." Emily beamed. She loved power. Dinner plans to vacation destinations. If it had a calendar, she owned it. It used to attract me. Now it felt like living with a beautiful dictator who held cabinet meetings over appetizers. The phone buzzed again. Tom Morrison, my COO, ex-Chicago PD, the only man alive I trusted with the truth. I stood. "Business." Emily nodded without looking at me, thumbs dancing. "Love you, babe." "Love you too," I said, tasting her lies in the air. Tom was waiting at the office with 2 coffees and a face like a closed fist. He's 48, built like a linebacker, gray eyes that forgot how to be surprised back in his 15th year on the job. "You look like a car accident," he said. "Morning, sunshine." I closed the door and hit the white noise generator. Habit from our federal contract days. "What do you know about private investigators? The kind that tail cheaters or the kind that find bodies?" "The first kind." He watched me. I showed him the pregnancy test photo. 3 months. We haven't had sex in 4. Do the math. A low whistle. "Kent? Working theory. I need proof. Clean. Court proof. Divorce? Scorched earth." He stared a full beat, reading the temperature. "I've got contacts. Quiet. Legal. They don't miss. Set it up." "You're sure?" No breaks once you see it? Breakfast with Emily replayed in my head, her softness while she carried a stranger's child, 20 years of houses and cars and calendars, all of it financed by my insomnia. And our girls, who would be drafted whether they volunteered or not. I'm past the point of no return, I said. Now I need ammunition. The investigator was Janet Pierce, mid-50s, former FBI, the kind of competence that doesn't announce itself. We met in a downtown cafe 3 neighborhoods away from Meadowbrook's gossip pipeline. She slid a manila envelope across. "Your wife isn't careful," she said, voice dry as copy paper. 3 weeks of surveillance. Enough to pitch Netflix inside. Photographs you can't bleach out of your head. Emily and Marcus at restaurants, hand in a Porsche, entering and exiting hotels with choreography. Timestamps like a drumbeat. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Receipts. Card charges from our joint account. She wasn't hiding. She was daring me to see it. "She's not stupid," I said, studying a shot of them kissing under a Marriott security light. "She's testing the perimeter." Janet nodded. "Pregnancy timeline matches the start of sexual contact. A DNA test will make it official. Circumstantial is already a landslide." She tapped another folder. Background on him. Married. 2 kids. Wife's name is Ava. He's bragged at the tennis club about sleeping with a CEO's wife. A prince. Get me everything. Logs, money, messages, and a dossier on Ava. She deserves the truth. It will get messy. "I clean messes for a living," I said. "Time to mop my own floor." The Meadowbrook Tennis Club gala arrived like it always does. Donors in rented virtue, 200 prominent residents pretending they care about underprivileged kids while manufacturing fresh ones. Emily took weeks assembling her armor. Midnight blue gown that hid a flat stomach and broadcasted a victory lap, hair pulled into an elegant, lethal chignon. She was the woman I'd fallen for 23 years earlier, before life put a price tag on everything. "You look beautiful," I told her. It was true. A dying star can still burn your eyes out. "Thank you, baby." Squeeze on the arm, flare of white teeth. "Tara and the girls are here. Her coven, Tara Mitchell, 3 divorces and a retainer, Chloe Henderson, and Lisa Park. Experts in supportive smiles that hide knives. Air kisses all around. Tara to me. "Mind if we steal her?" Girl talk. The 2 most expensive words in suburbia. "Of course," I said. "I'll be at the bar." Tom was nursing a bourbon in a tuxedo he despised. "Don't cause a scene," he muttered. "Me?" I scanned the room. "I'm here for the children." Across the floor, Marcus Kent materialized like a catalog page. Perfect tux, hair with an instruction manual. That smooth varnish of a man who makes a living flattering people who pay by the hour. At his side, Ava. Petite, dark hair, intelligent eyes that didn't miss a step. She looked at him like the moon. He looked at Emily like a cash prize. "Target acquired," Tom said. I played the room like a piano. Donors, clients, neighbors, firm handshake, friendly lie, all while watching Emily and Marcus orbit each other with trained distance. They were good. No obvious contact, no clumsy tells. You don't need clumsy when you think the audience is asleep. The moment came during the silent auction. Emily studying a spa weekend package, Marcus drifting beside her like a tide. He leaned in, said something. She laughed, touched his arm, stepped away. To anyone else, nothing. To me, electricity. "Beautiful evening," a voice said. Ava. Up close, prettier than from across the ballroom. Understated grace, the kind inherited, not bought. "Your wife is stunning," she said, eyes tracking Emily. "That color loves her." "Thank you. You look beautiful yourself." "Marcus is a lucky man." A flicker crossed her face, something brittle. "He tells me he is." She sipped wine. "He's dedicated to his work." "Long hours for instructors," I said mildly. "Building a client base is murder." "Yes," she said. "It certainly is." We stood like that, 2 spouses in a polite standoff while our partners rehearsed betrayal 20 feet away. I liked her immediately, which made the next moves uglier. Well, she said finally, I should get back. He gets anxious when I wonder. She left. Marcus slid an arm around her waist, proprietary, not affectionate. Emily vanished into a flurry of girlfriends and phones. My phone buzzed. Janet. Package delivered to your office. Phase 2 was locked and loaded. Back home, the folder bloomed like a controlled burn. Hotel receipts, phone logs, a blizzard of calls and texts, credit card statements mapping a romance in line items, the cherry on top, screenshots of private group chats. Emily to Tara. He has no idea. Nick's married to his job. I don't exist. Marcus makes me feel alive. Tara's reply. You go, girl. Life's too short for boring. Careful. Divorces get ugly if the side action shows up. Emily. Not leaving. Having my cake. Nick pays, Marcus satisfies. Dozens of messages. Detailed. Vicious. The pregnancy thread cut deepest. She'd tracked her cycle. Conception aligned with a girls' weekend in Wisconsin that was a romantic detour with Marcus. Positive test? This changes everything. Nick won't leave now. Marcus is going to flip when I tell him he's a daddy. Marcus, per Janet's phone work. Are you sure? I can't handle a kid right now. Emily. Don't worry. Nick thinks it's his miracle. We'll figure it out. I sat in the dark and felt something cold take a seat in my chest. Not rage. Rage is hot and short. This was a winter that planned supply lines. I opened my laptop. Project Homecoming. Strategy, phases, assets, pressure points. If she wanted games, I'd show her a player. Morning. Coffee? Sophie shuffled in, eyes puffy, hoodie half-zipped. Late night? Too much caffeine, I lied. She studied me the way smart children study weather. Is Mom up? Sleeping. Pregnancy makes her tired? She didn't blink. Are you and Mom okay? Like, actually okay? The question sat between us like a grenade with the pin taped to the handle. Sophie is 18, Northwestern in the fall, as observant as a detective and twice as dangerous because she still believes in fairness. I wanted to shield her. You can't shield someone who already knows the shape of the knife. Marriage is complicated, I said. Sometimes people hit rough water. Is that what this is? She asked. Rough water? I love you. I love your sister. Whatever happens, that doesn't change. That's not an answer. It's the only one I can give. She nodded like an adult and walked away like a kid. That's the part they don't tell you. Collateral damage cries in bathrooms. Ava and I met in a Starbucks 2 towns over. She held her purse like a life raft. Your message was concerning, she said. You mentioned Marcus. And something I needed to know. I'm going to show you some things, I said, laying the envelope on the table. They'll hurt. I'm sorry, she braced. I slid out the photographs. Hotels, kisses, parking lots, restaurant hands. Her face cycled through surprise, recognition, pain, calculation. How long? 6 months, we can prove. Maybe longer. He said he was building his client base, she said. I thought he was planning something for our anniversary. Her thumb hovered over a photo of Marcus nuzzling Emily's neck in a Marriott lot. 15 years next month. There's more, I said. My wife is pregnant. The timing suggests it's his. She closed her eyes. Of course. Why cheat when you can immortalize it? She opened them again. The vulnerability was gone. The steel remained. What do you want from me? Honestly? Not sure yet. But you deserve the truth. When you know, she said, call me. I'm a lawyer's daughter. Revenge is a foreign language I speak fluently. 2 days later, she walked into the tennis club like she owned the place and sat beside me in the clubhouse. Emily and Marcus were on court 3, practicing grips and pretense. They're not subtle, she said. They don't think they need to be. She handed me a heavier envelope. Inside, bank statements, credit cards, tax returns. A pattern of skimming that would make an auditor cry. He's been stealing from the club, Ava said. Cash lessons off the books, inflated equipment invoices, court fee sleight of hand, roughly 50 grand across 3 years. You're giving this to me? I'm giving it to someone who will know how to make it count. My divorce doesn't need felonies. But if someone else discovered it, she shrugged. Accidents happen. You don't have to do this. Oh, I do, she said. He set our house on fire. He can watch it burn. That night, Emily came home glowing with endorphins. Marcus really brings out my potential, she said over dinner, savoring the word like dessert. It's important to have someone who believes in you, I said evenly. We opened a new case today. Financial fraud. Amazing how people think they can steal from institutions without anyone noticing. Her fork paused midair. That sounds serious. It is, I said. White-collar crime looks clean. It isn't. It kills families. She smiled like her face was a mask she was tired of wearing. I'm sure they'll get what's coming. They will. At 2 a.m., glass shattered downstairs. Emily screamed. The sound yanked me back to a younger version of myself that cleared rooms for a living. Baseball bat, stairs, adrenaline. The kitchen looked like a stage set for home invasion. Dishes shattered in a cinematic arc. Chairs overturned at dramatic angles. Emily sprawled on tile, one hand on her stomach, the other on a script. He attacked me, she sobbed. Oh God, the baby. Who? He ran when he heard you. She clutched me. Call 911. I did. But something was off. The injuries were superficial, the chaos arranged. Her eyes kept flicking toward the window like she had an audience in the bushes. The paramedics arrived. Then cops. Officer Martinez took notes while Emily gave an Oscar performance. Mask. Threats. A voice that knew us. Enough innuendo to point a finger without owning it. At the hospital, the doctor said she and the baby were fine. The incident was logged, photographed, entered. The nurse gave me a look like I'd brought a bomb to a playdate. We got home at 6, just as the girls were getting ready for school. Emily sobbed on cue. I don't feel safe here anymore, she told them, staring at me over their heads. After they left, I poured coffee and put my phone on the table. Clever, I said. The staged attack. The hospital? Making me look like a threat to you and the trophy you're carrying? Very clever. I don't know what you're talking about, she said, smiling with her mouth and not her eyes. Marcus helped, right? He broke the dishes. You scuffed yourself. He slipped out before I came down. Prove it. I don't have to. The cameras will. Her smile cracked. What cameras? The ones I installed last month. Motion activated, night vision, full coverage. I pressed play. Marcus creeping along the hedge line. Emily opening the back door. The choreographed scuffle. The careful push. The gentle fall. His exit, timed to my footsteps. She watched the playback in silence. The police will care, I said. False report. Insurance fraud. Conspiracy. That's jail. You can't use that. Illegal surveillance? My house. My system. Very legal. I slipped the phone away. It's over, Em. The affair, the lies, the games. Something in her posture deflated. For a second, I saw the woman from our first apartment, years before countertops had names. I loved you, she said. It wasn't a plea. It was a footnote. I loved you too. When did we stop? When we stopped being partners and started being projects. I nodded at her stomach. The kid deserves peace. Not a trench line. She swallowed. What happens now? Call your lawyer. We settle. Fair custody. Fair split. No more theater. Marcus? He's the state's problem. She left that afternoon with a suitcase and a ride to her sister's. Sophie and Mia cried, then hardened. Kids are elastic until they're not. That night, text from my attorney. Patricia Vance. Shark in Armani. Best money I ever spent. Opposing counsel wants a deal. No trial. No press. Aspen House to her. Half liquid assets. You keep the business in primary custody. DNA test on the pregnancy. I walked through the living room museum of our life and found I didn't want the exhibits. I wanted quiet. In the morning, I turned over the footage. The police arrested Marcus on court, too, in front of his clientele. Women in designer skirts who put hands over mouths like it was theater, and they'd gotten front row seats. Charges. Conspiracy. Filing a false report. Fraud. The local news puked it across dinner tables. Tennis pro arrested in staged attack. Ava called that night. "Thank you," she said. "Not breathy. Flat. For the evidence. For everything. Marcus won't be a problem again. What will you do?" "Move. New schools. New house. New rules. Good plan." "And you, Nick? What does a man like you do on the far side of war?" "I become the father I should have been," I said. "And I teach my girls that some fights are worth losing if you lose them right." The illusion didn't die quietly. There were last-ditch moves. Emily tried a sympathy offensive with the girls, claimed I was trying to take everything, the house, custody, the baby. Sophie asked to talk to me privately. She closed my study door and looked older, like someone turned up the resolution on her face. "Mom says you don't want the baby," she said. I looked at her and made a choice. "The baby may not be mine," I said. "We won't know until a test." She nodded. I figured. The math. And the way she is with him. She blinked hard. How could she do this to us? "People trade long-term for short-term every day," I said. "They call it happiness." "What's going to happen to me and Mia?" "What always does," I said. "We're going to get up tomorrow and go to school and come home and do homework. And in between we'll feel like hell. And then, one day, we won't." A day later, Marcus showed up at my office, sweat bleeding through his polo, arrogance flaking off like cheap paint. He wanted to talk man to man. Tom posted up in the doorway like a storm cloud. I let Marcus sit. He tried sincerity. He tried victimhood. He tried blaming me for not worshiping my wife hard enough to prevent him from sleeping with her. "Get out," I said, when he asked me to adopt his consequences. "This isn't over," he spat. "It is for you," I said. "For you, it's very over." Emily's last counterstrike was the 2 a.m. performance. We'd bagged it with the camera footage before it grew teeth. She realized checkmate when she saw herself in full HD, letting her lover into our kitchen and cueing his exit. She tried one angle. "You'll go down with me. I know your business secrets." Until she remembered that the people who carry my secrets sign federal forms and carry badges. We filed first. Beat her to the courthouse by 3 hours. Patricia assembled a filing that read like a biography. Infidelity, fraud, emotional abandonment, emergency hearing, DNA motion, injunctions on asset flight. "She's been quietly moving money," Patricia said, tapping a ledger. "Small transfers to an account in her maiden name. 47,000 so far. Structuring to avoid triggers. She's been planning this for months." "She's smart," I said. "I should have assumed she'd study." "She's not as smart as you," Patricia said, "and she doesn't have me." The settlement came fast. Sharks smell blood from stories away. Emily could read the room. Staged attack video. PI file. Receipts. Social media. Ava's packet. No jury would forgive that. She took the Aspen house and half the liquid. I kept the business and my daughter's day-to-day. The judge signed the DNA order with a bored flourish. Whatever the lab said, I knew what I'd do. Protect the child. No kid asks to be a weapon. On arrest day, I sat in the car outside the club and watched the uniforms walk Marcus across the parking lot. He still tried the smile. The same one he gave bored wives and teenage sons who wanted to serve. Cameras loved him until they didn't. Doors closed behind him with institutional certainty. That night, Ava texted a photo of a U-Haul and 2 kids in the driveway holding boxes. "Starting over," it said. Underneath, "Thank you." I typed 3 words. "You deserved better," then deleted them. "We don't owe the past a speech." Emily texted once more. "I'm sorry for all of it. You deserve better." I stared at the screen a long time, then deleted that too. Some conversations expire. Some bridges need fire more than planks. I poured a bourbon and sat in the backyard surrounded by a silence that sounded like recovery. The house was the same. Lawn trimmed, 3 bays of garage, ridiculous square footage. Inside, 1,000 stars framed by a window somebody else picked. The war was over. The victory didn't feel like fireworks. It felt like a power outage ending. A hum shut off. Air returning to a room that had been clenched too long. Tomorrow I'd start the rebuild. Mornings with Mia over calculus. Afternoons with Sophie hunting dorm bedding and pretending the future isn't terrifying. Work that doesn't burn me down for money I don't need. Fewer promises, kept better. You learn stupid truths on the far side of betrayal. People will sell you a fantasy that's cheaper than honesty. Love without loyalty is just marketing. And the quiet you get after you cut the right wires isn't empty. It's oxygen. I finished the bourbon. The night held. Somewhere, a red Porsche sat in an impound lot with a parking ticket under the wiper. Somewhere else, Aspen got a new owner who would find out money doesn't hug you back. My girls slept down the hall. And for the first time in months, I didn't listen for the sound of someone sneaking in or out of my house. We were done here.